Early bird gets the deck tech. Let's just dive right in, huh? It's hammer time, chat. Colossus Hammer. 1 mana equipment. Equipped a creature gets +10, and loses flying. So how do we leverage this? We've got Sigarda's aid here that says auras and equipment spells cast as though they had flash. And when it enters play under your control, you get to equip it to something. And then we've got Puresteel Paladin here, which is Metalcraft. Equipments you control have 0 to equip. So if you have 3 or more artifacts you can equip for free, whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you get to draw a card. And then we've got Stoneforge Mystic to find Colossal Hammer. We've got Steelshaper's Gift to find Colossal Hammer. And then we've got Urza's Saga to find Colossal Hammer. So we're just looking to hammer people down. We've got some Inkmoths in here that can kill people in one shot if they're equipped with Colossus Hammer because they have Infect. And then we've got, just other cheap Dorko creatures that we could suit up that also enable Metalcraft for this. So let's go ahead and hopefully bonk a few people and have a good time this morning, huh? Hey, Moonlight, thanks for the 17 months. Good morning and welcome. It's hammer time. Distraction Ninja. Thanks for the 11 months. I appreciate it. I wouldn't be here without folks like you. I mean, this hand looks great, huh? We have Sigarda's Aid on 1. We have Stoneforge for big bonks on 2. And we've got an Inkmoth Nexus to kill them with big bonks after they declare no blockers. So, what more could you ask for? So, this hand a turn 3 kill? This is a turn 3 kill, right? Pretty sure? Because we get Inkmoth, Stoneforge for the thing on 2, and then land, animate, cast it, equip it on 3. Pretty sick. Pretty sick. We need to get done geese so we can bonk with a honk. We need to get sub geese so we can bonk with a honk. I like where your head's at. It's a good headspace. Historic Brawl. Historic Brawl's been a ton of fun. So I have exactly 2 actual historic deck submissions left in my queue, and both the people who donated for them request they be played specifically today. So today's arena segment is going to be 2 regular historic decks. My plans are Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. We're going to play Historic Brawl on stream. Is my loose plans. Yeah, if they don't make Historic Brawl a permanent format, it would be a colossal failure on Watsi's part. We need a permanent queue for Historic Brawl, Historic Commander. It needs to have the power level based matchmaking like we have now. Gladiator's never gonna happen. Oh no! They countered my Bink Bonk, chat! What kind of monster counters my Bink Bonk? We're definitely supposed to jam there, because jamming there prevents them from making a token with this, which is nice. Yeah, the number of people that I've had comment that Historic Brawl looks great, but they're not getting into it because they can't justify spending resources for a format that's disappearing on Saturday is really sad, but also understandable. AK Ratter, thank you for the 27 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And honestly, to put it in terms Wizards of the Coast will understand, the fact that people could be spending resources to make more commander decks, more historic commander decks, means that they probably should leave the format there. Because, you know, there are people who are interested in playing their format and will spend resources to play more of it. It's an Emery. Well, I don't know if we can beat Emery Aether Spellbomb, huh? I think that's just like a hard lock, right? Yeah, I guess I could draw a second thing. Again, not really though, right? Because like they're at 16, and like while I wait to draw a second thing, they're gonna get these things going. And they have an Ovaltine Daredevil in their graveyard, so like they're gonna get to start looping and making food. I think we're locked out. Want to have the audacity to interact with our combo deck? Heckin' rude, chat. I just wanted to bink bonk, and our opponent had the audacity to be like, nah. I guess giver technically is a thing, but at the same time, it's like not. I want the second needle here. Probably not a Seal cleansing matchup. Path to Exile sounds great. Asmo is annoying. Need 2 cuts here. I trim the Springleaf Drums. Yep. The deck command does not work when we are playing Magic Online. This Boomer software does not contain integrations. Definitely casting this. I think we're playing Mom first. Does MTGO have an API at all? No. None of the Wizards applications have APIs. The Magic Arena stuff only works because there's an output log that gets read in by a third-party application. It's not technically an API. We have Aid plus Stoneforge again. Being good at drawing Sigarda's Aid seems nice. I think I probably want to play Esper Sentinel first. Yeah, I chose not to play the discard spells in the Board King Tower. There were variations of this deck that played with and without those, and I chose not to. The recent list that finished in the top 8 of the Modern Challenge wasn't playing it. I don't know. Being able to race people seems realistic. Like this deck Goldfish is turn 3 nut draws, so like this card, it's funny to me how, and this kind of goes back to how Magic players and their evaluations of cards and formats always cracks me up. How people always point to like cards like Urza Saga being a problem, but like honestly, this is the card that, like, you look at these Asmo decks and, like, in my opinion, this is the card that's really the messed up card. Like, it's weird to me that we haven't figured out yet that just, like, all the free cards are always the problem. Hey, thanks for 16 months, Meatwad. Good morning, good morning. I mean, it's not even just playing 56 cards, right? Like, this is better than 56 cards. You get to play your Emeries cheaper. You get to make your Emeries cantrip every turn. People defend Mishra's Bauble, a fun card. That's so weird. Powerful enabler, yes. Like, weird cantrip, I don't know. It's a $20 Boomer Magic card. That's hilarious. Yeah. Bauble and Manamorphose are like Bauble. My list of things that are offensive in Modern that they still haven't touched are Bauble, Manamorphose, and Primeval Titan for sure. Those are the cards that, in my opinion, are the issues. Oh yeah, and this deck even gets to play Street Wraith too. Yeah, triggers Prowess and Delirium as well. And honestly, so like we talk, well, obviously Historic is having problems right now because they've added Brainstorm to the format and it's too good. One of the things that they've done really well in Historic is by putting powerful cards into the format that are threats for the most part without having the stupid enablers for them, right? Like Grape Shot and Tendrils and Dragonstorm are all able to exist in Historic and be fine because there's no rituals and there's no Manamorphose and stupid bad designs like those. The One-Eyed Wonder Weasel and Nifty, thanks for the 2 years, folks. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. My friends, but if and I keep saying that while Saga is strong, it's keeping dumb decks in check. Do you agree? I don't know. I don't have a. I don't. Here's my take on that. I don't think we've had enough Magic tournaments to have strong, definitive. These cards are too good or not. Which is why when I'm talking about things that I personally would address in Modern in its current state, I like to talk about things that I think are poor designs in general, as opposed to, well, now we drew an Inkmoth Nexus. So I was going to hammer time this Esper Sentinel and just like smack him upside the head, because then I get to draw a bunch of cards. Maybe that's still the plan, and we just like Urza Saga this turn. Let's do that. No, I think Mox Opal has a lot of the same problems as Mishra's Bauble. The issues that I'm describing here with Mishra's Bauble are like tenfold with what's it called? So now this says they have to pay X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. So now every time they cast a non-creature spell, I get to draw a card unless they pay 11. Which is nice. It's very nice, chat. Sure. First time each turn, sure. It's basically the same thing. I'm so glad that Stoneforge Mystic has worked out to just be fine in this format. I like how they like even printed a better, more versatile equipment to beat down with than Batterskull, and like it's still just fine. People were so adamant for so long that this card and Jace and all these other things were gonna ruin things. en-Vec in, thank you for the entire year of support. Let's make sure you have a sword to go with that shield. Welcome back. One card, please. Thanks. Pierogi Addict, thank you for the third of a year. Welcome back. Squirrels in Pauper. I don't know that I'm really interested in playing Pauper. I think I'd take a Legacy submission, but Pauper's not really a format that I enjoyed last time I played it. The last time we played Pauper on stream, we played 2 matches, and those 2 matches took 2 hours. And they have the Ovaltine Daredevil here, which is going to bounce back and forth and make them hardy and strong. Lots of food. Yeah, but like shit like that, S. Mueller. I think takes like those are such garbage takes. We can't unban Splinter Twin because backed up by Teferi, it would be too good. Well, let's address your statement in 2 parts. Backed up by Force, it would be too good. Force of Negation can't protect Splinter Twin because they explicitly designed Force of Negation to not work on your turn. 2, if 3-mana Teferi's the problem, 3-mana Teferi's the problem. It's not Splinter Twin that's the problem. And that's something that happens constantly in these older non-rotating formats. People like skate around the idea of what the actual problem is. They're like, well, that's a problem. It's like, well, is that actually the problem? Or are you just like afraid to ban Primeval Titan, but we're going to keep banning around it? We're going to ban Summer Bloom and other bullshit because, you know, Primeval Titan is a sacred cow. We can't possibly ban Primeval Titan. Sing legendary. Are we dead? We might be. This thing's not legendary. Okay, so if I play this next turn, I can make a thing, and then I'll have this plus a land drop plus a Steelleaf Drum to make another thing. So I think I do this so we can make tokens with both of these next turn, right? If we get a No, Amulet of Vigor is exactly what I just said. It's we're gonna ban Amulet of Vigor is the problem. No, Primeval Titan is a fucked up magic card. I think there's a good chance we're dead Asmo, the cookbooks, and the Ovaltine Daredevil. I guess I could fish. Maybe I shouldn't have played this because we're supposed to fish Pithing Needle with this one. No, we have 4 hammers. It's really strange to call out Force of Negation when talking about Splinter Twin to me. Because, like, Force, like, I don't like Force's design in general because a lot of free spells are kind of meh. But, like, Force was at least explicitly designed to not be able to protect your stuff on your turn. It'll be interesting to say. This is a warning shot to people watching on YouTube in the future. But if you feel free to post silly opinions about modern things in an obnoxious way underneath this video in a comment, prepare to be shadow banned for posting comments on my channel. I've been enjoying my time back playing Modern since we started playing Modern again, but it is definitely the case that I've had significant or just super dead. I don't know how my creature deck ever beats this shit. It is definitely the case that people that engage with Modern content on average are just way more obnoxious. I probably remove or shadow ban more people from a single Modern video every time I post them than I do like all my arena videos in a single week. It's definitely something. Hey, Fulmultis, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. Basking Root Wall. They just gave us Red Root Wall. I forget what it's called, but we literally have Red Root Wall. Man, if we have a league this morning with this deck like we had yesterday, we played against the food deck 3 times yesterday, and this deck does not seem like it has good tools for beating that, huh? Just got shoved in a little box there. Hey, Toxic. Thanks for re-upping the Prime. Welcome back. This is probably a mulligan, right? It's got a bunch of hammers and there's no way to get them equipped for free. Okay, we'll bottom Stoneforge. We'll hope to draw another land. Yeah, honestly, Draven, I think that you hit the nail on the head, and that's a big part of it. I think a big part of it is that's a good draw. There are people who are arena players on average are more interested and willing to learn, whereas a lot of the average Modern player is like heavily invested in the format and think that they know better than everybody else. What's the best deck a beginner could pilot in Modern? We played Green Tron yesterday on stream, and you can build it for less than $70, the deck list we played yesterday. 10 out of 10 would recommend some Tron for a new Modern player. We've been ousted, chat. You've been ousted. Yeah, if you can remember 1 + 1 + 1 is 7, you can play Tron. I mean, I don't know if that's strictly true, Nifty. You just like have to have removal for Asmo, right? And like, it's not even just Asmo. Like, the last match we just played showed the power of Emry too, right? Like, they could lock us out with Emry or Asmo. Either of those did it. Ooh, that's unfortunate. So the fact that they killed our artifact means I don't have Metalcraft anymore. JK, LOL. We're gonna attack for 11 here. Then we're gonna go ahead and slide this over to my Esper boy. Whoa, Haveno. Careful with the mod commands there, friendo. My best friend played against Tron at FNM and the Tron player multiplied both games. He said he felt bad. As a Tron player myself, I told him to never feel bad for him. All right, so my opponent played a bunch of fair cards. They like have Mardu lands, like do I board in Sanctifier? They also had Oust. I think what you're describing there is actually pretty typical Rotten Agenda, and it kind of highlights why Magic Arena is so good at getting people into the ecosystem. Like, players starting with Standard and Draft is like Wizards' intended introduction to Magic, and then as you play more Magic, you explore deeper into the ecosystem with the deeper card pool. I think your description there actually kind of highlights exactly what Wizards wants things to do. I cut the Pithing Needle and the Shadowspear and board in these Sanctifiers. I'll leave the Pithing Needle in just in case. Might have a Planeswalker or something I want to tag. Why does Tron get so much hate? So Tron is a deck that has very polarizing matchups. And the decks that Tron is usually polarizing good against are the decks that players who fancy themselves big brain smart players tend to play. So there's a lot of bias against Tron because the people who get beat up by it think that their brains are huge. To be fair, Raid Shadow Legends is one of the few things that's more expensive than Modern. Although I don't know that that's strictly true. I think the total I've spent on Raid Shadow Legends is comparable to one Modern deck. Check my spreadsheets. What am I? Have I spent more than a Modern deck on Raid Shadow Legends? It's like one Jund deck. Like $1,700. We've been ousted, chat. Foil Jund or regular Jund? I don't know what a Jund costs these days anymore. What is a Jund? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Is Jund above $2,000? What is a Jund? So do I put Sigarda's Aid into play? Honestly, I think we just draw the kitty cat, right? Attack for 2. There's still Jund players. Listen, chat. Jund players exist for a very important purpose. Jund players exist to prove the point that Magic is not pay to win. In fact, speaking of shadow banning people, the last person I shadow banned on an arena video was actually someone who was very indignant that I would dare to say that Magic was not pay to win. They were very upset that I would imply that. They felt very strongly, chat. And to anybody out there that thinks Magic is pay to win, whatever you need to tell yourself to justify the fact that you suck at Magic and other people are beating you. Pay to win is an ego-saving thing that people who are mediocre at the game have to tell themselves to justify in their head why they're losing games other than they made a mistake. Search your opponent's library for a card and exile it. Sure. That's for the 15 months patches. Sure, there's an aspect of pay to win involved. So, pay to win, if Magic is pay to win, then every competitive sport is pay to win. because you can't play competitive sports without the ability to have equipment to compete in those sports. So is football pay to win because I have to pay for pads and a helmet and other protective gear? Is golf pay to win because I have to buy golf clubs in order to compete? No, and it would be idiotic to say that those things are. Magic has an entry fee, and you have to pay an entry fee in order to compete, but you do not gain a skill edge playing Magic. I exiled one of my hammers, that's funny. You do not gain a skill edge in playing Magic by just spending a bunch of money. Yeah, pay to compete is the appropriate vernacular in my opinion. It is in my opinion, it is actually incredibly rare. It is actually incredibly rare that games are pay to win. Games tend to be pay to accelerate, and games tend to, as someone who plays a lot of games, especially predatory games, and this comes down to players not understanding what they're upset with. Like, players are bad at understanding why things, it's like another term that card game players especially mess up constantly is you often hear players complain that games that feel bad weren't interactive. Like, for example, the best example I always give is people constantly complain that decks like Mono Blue aren't interactive, like Mono Blue Tempo, which is so incredibly idiotic because those decks are literally as interactive as they can be. Or Rogues. Yeah, Rogues is a more current example. People will say, well, Rogues wasn't interactive. And it's like, well, actually, Rogues is all interaction. It just has so much interaction, it feels awful to play against. And that's players not understanding what they're actually upset with, right? They're not upset with a lack of interaction. They're upset with a lack of player agency because there was so much interaction, none of their decisions mattered. So what people who call Magic and games like Magic pay to win, what they're actually saying is Magic is too expensive for me to play competitively, and I am upset that I can't play Magic competitively because I'm priced out of it. And that is a completely valid, reasonable thing to feel and say. It is fine to be sad that you are priced out of the thing that you want to be able to access. Magic is an expensive luxury hobby. It does not, however, give you an advantage if you just spend more money in a competitive environment. People mistake the fact that a tier deck beats a draft deck consistently as that's pay to win. No, that person just bought the proper equipment to play the game. It's like two people showing up to a golf tournament and one of them has a stick that they pulled out of the woods to try and hit the golf ball with, and another person has a professional set of clubs. Like, the person with the professional set of clubs didn't pay to win at golf. Thanks for the 2 months, Chase. I appreciate the support. Welcome back. 2 Mo's! One of the OGs. 70 months. That's a lot of months, chat. Do I have a 6-year badge? I think I have a 6-year badge. Yeah, we're good. I think I put out a couple years worth of badges. 2 Mo's is going to get the first 6-year badge. Yeah, most hobbies are expensive. It's true. Up. Did I get it? I got it. We almost missed it. I was looking at chat and I missed the fact that our match queued. Nailed it, chat. Never didn't have it. Man, we're gonna draw so many cards, chat. Put a revealed Wellspring. No, it just doesn't pair you, Red Ranger. It doesn't punish you or anything like that. This is a perfect draw. So we get to go like thing next turn, and then we get to go aid, Steelshaper's Gift, play, equip, hammer. It could be a couple different things. The second mountain would imply that they're likely mono red. Good to have you here, Flight Forward. They could have the fetch mountain Dragon's Rage Chandler could have been blue red, but the second mountain leans towards. Although I guess the Wellspring actually leans towards mono red, because blue red usually plays the Prowess Dorko. That's blue. I don't enjoy the gameplay MOBAs, but I love that they monetize on cosmetics. Yeah. I would definitely describe Magic as being actually relatively cheap compared to a lot of hobbies, but it's expensive for a video game. So if you compare Magic to things like MOBAs and other video games, Magic is pretty expensive. But if you compare Magic to, you know, things like golf, or I knew some people that used to do like remote control car racing, or lots of other sporting type things, the amount of equipment that you buy, Warhammer, like. And honestly, that part of that is why Magic Arena is so profitable, because not only has Magic Arena brought in a ton of other people, and but like while Magic Arena is expensive, especially compared to things like Legends of Runeterra, compared to paper Magic, Magic Arena is super fucking cheap. And like Magic has trained their user base. They've price anchored us, right? Is what we refer to that as. And we know what we expect to pay for paper Magic, and then you compare it to Magic Arena, and you're like, oh, this is nothing. This is cheap. It's hammer time. Love to use this ability. Thank you for asking. Zero, thanks for the sub gifty. Good morning. Yeah, honestly, extras, that's my biggest problem with the arena economy. I don't actually think the specific price point of MTGA is awful if that's what they want to charge for it. My specific qualms with the MTG arena economy is that when a lot of people hear me talk about predatory monetization in games like Magic Arena, they think I'm taking issue with the fact that the game is expensive, but I actually explicitly don't really have a problem with the game being expensive. My problem with Magic Arena at a fundamental level is that Magic Arena doesn't sell you what you want for the amount of money that you have. I can't have someone say, okay, Jeff, how much does this Magic Arena deck cost to buy? And then it's unclear. It's not even how expensive. It's unclear what the price is, right? Like the predatory aspect is 100% I can't tell you what this costs. And that's the thing that's a problem in my opinion. If decks still cost, $100 or $150 or whatever it was, that's fine, that's whatever. But like, you could tell me I know exactly what it costs. Well, so Hearthstone is also shitty. For the record, whenever people bring up the Hearthstone dust system, the Hearthstone dust system is incredibly predatory for other reasons as well. The Hearthstone dust system encourages people to make bad decisions and destroy the purchase they've actually made. And Hearthstone also doesn't let you know what you're getting for the money that you're spending. Yeah, the arena economy has this weird structure where, unlike Paper Magic and MTGO, building trash decks on Arena is actually more expensive and more risky than building good decks. Whereas in Paper, get trampled. In Paper and on Magic Online, building trash decks is very cheap, which is a very interesting dynamic. Okay, so I'm going to bring in, we have a bunch of good cards to bring in here. We have Forge-Tender and Sanctifier that are pro-red, and we've got Path to Exile and Prismatic Ending as cheap removal. We're going to board out Pithing Needle here. Yes, and honestly, like, what we're talking about Raid Shadow Legends a little bit ago. There's a human psychology aspect that has been studied. If you've never watched it so far, if you haven't watched it before, there are a ton of videos about psychology inside of microtransactions games. And one of the things that they've done studies on that gets people to spend a lot more money is obscuring how much things actually cost. People are much worse at controlling how much they spend when it's not clear what things cost inside of the system you're working in. I think we trim some spring leaves. I'm going to trim Steelshapers. I still have Stoneforges to tutor up hammers. Maybe get rid of Giver. We're bringing in other threats. Yeah, extras. One of the upsides to Magic Arena system, or one of the things that's it's definitely designed to do, is your nth deck is always cheaper on Magic Arena than your nth -1 deck, because the way their economy works, you incidentally have more cards for things the more decks you build. Which is another one of those things that is designed to string you along a little bit, where it's like, well, I only have to spend a little bit more for this next one. And then once you have that next one, it's like, well, now the one after this is even cheaper than that. So if I could afford the nth deck, I can afford the nth +1 deck, because the nth +1 deck is even cheaper now. There's a little bit more, and this one's cheaper, and I can afford the previous one. Like, there's a lot of it that goes into all of that. And then to wrap it all around, before we move off the topic, to wrap this rant around into late stage capitalism, this ties back into, we have some of the brightest minds in the world figuring out how to wring extra money out of people with predatory monetization instead of putting their minds to use solving actual problems. Ooh, light up the stage, find Arclight Phoenix. This is not what they're looking for on turn 2. Because it's not inherently profitable to solve real problems. It's definitely profitable to figure out how to wring more money out of people. Alright, so Sanctifier sounds baller, huh? Let's go ahead and Sanctifier here. And then next turn we can go Puresteel Paladin into Equip Hammer. Yeah, I think if I hadn't drawn this extras, I would have led on both the equipment this turn before the Paladin. But the fact that we drew this changes the dynamic. It's a good observation. So if we hadn't drawn this pro red card, I would have led on the equipment so I could Paladin next turn and equip it guaranteed at least one. But with this, we'll now go equipment into Paladin next turn. How is Hammer being equipped for free? Puresteel Paladin says if we have 3 or more artifacts, you can equip it for free. So Puresteel Paladin lets us equip it when it's already in play for free, and Sigarda's Aid lets us equip what's what I'm searching for? Lets us equip when it comes into play one time. Esper Sentinel has been really good so far today. Card sweet. It's artifact enabler, like taxes our opponent's mana. Allow me to let you experience the fun and interesting mechanic that is protection, opponent. Are you having fun yet, mono red opponent? I am having fun. Oh, I guess I would have drawn a card here if I would have played this second, right? And they were tapped out, so I probably should have done that. Yeah, that could end up mattering. I wasn't thinking about drawing cards. I was just so excited to have, they could have had the Evoke guy. Yeah, that's true. Wait, that one doesn't have Flash, right? The red Evoke doesn't have Flash? Okay, yeah, the red one doesn't have Flash. I should have switched them around. It didn't matter. Nice mono red deck. All right, so we got dumpstered by, we had a bad case of food poisoning in the first round, but the subsequent rounds have gone much better. Stand up here for a little bit. We're waiting to queue up our match. I could show off. We had my Obey Nico Cola shirt yesterday, and today I've got my my Spirit Dragon shirt on here from Colossus Apparel. Whoop, wrong scene. Moto and Pogo are right next to each other in my scene list. If you want your own Ugin the Spirit Dragon shirt or Obey Nico Colas, you can check out Colossus Apparel. You use my code to save 10% there. I didn't know siding in Gengar was an option. If you didn't see my last Pokemon Go video, we played Ho-Oh, Suicune, and Gengar in some Ultra League battles. That's up on the YouTube channel. It's been my Ultra League team of choice because I don't have a lot of resources to build out mons for those. Did Colossus send me an entire wardrobe? Yeah, part of my sponsorship deal with them is they sent me a bunch of shirts, which honestly are the best product sponsorships. I was actually, so I've been thinking about this, and since I've been back to doing Magic, my sub count's been really strong, which I am grateful for. This community is awesome. And I think because my bills mostly get paid off of subscribers and the sponsorships are kind of negligible, I think I'm going to be taking down my on-stream banners next month. I think I want to redo some of my interface overlay stuff, and I think I'd like it to be a little bit cleaner and more focused on the game. And clear some of these banner ads off. So I've got month-to-month contracts with them, so I emailed folks on those. But like, Colossus Apparel, hopefully Cedric wants to still work with me because these have really organic plugs. Like, I don't mind doing some sponsored stuff, but I think I'd like to clean the overlay up a bit. I'm not going to stop having sponsors. I'm just going to stop offering the always on-screen ticker as part of the sponsorship package. Realize that your torso is unused headspace is clever. Basically. It isn't very capitalist of you. Yeah, it was funny. I recently got a new partner manager at Twitch, and one of the questions, I think this is my third partner manager since I've been a partner. One of the questions they always ask is like, well, what are your goals for like growth with the channel? And I always feel like they're kind of surprised when I'm just like, I don't really have growth goals. I just want to like keep doing what I'm already doing and hope that it stays the same. I'm not a corporation, chat. I don't need endless growth. If we can maintain about what we've been maintaining, I'll be a happy boy. Look at the shareholders. What are we bottoming here? We're keeping these. Could be Giver, could be Ornithopter. I think I'm going to bottom the Giver, because I want extra artifacts and creatures that are cheaper to get on the board faster. It's hard to grow as a big fish in a small pond. I mean, I don't think that's strictly true. I mean, like, as a point of reference, like, there are a number of things I could notably do to grow my content and stuff more. Like, to give a very pointed example, occasionally talking about things like late stage capitalism and shitting on conservatives who deserve to be shat upon drives people away from the channel. For reference, the largest concurrent viewer count averages my channel ever had were before I started being actively political on stream. And I don't intend to stop doing that. Like, I'm going to talk about things I think that are important to talk about, because I'm in a spot where I can afford to be like, yeah, that's fine. I don't need those views. Hey, Good Geeks, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Wouldn't be able to be here without folks like you. And Jabber and Gormagash, thanks for the follows. Okay, so Stoneforge is not bad. So we'll drop Saga. And then I was gonna drop Aid and then do this into the thing next turn, but now we can Stoneforge for the Hammer, and then next turn we can Aid into Hammer. I agree with you that's the case, Mask. Chat hates change in general, I assume. Shug, stay how you are. Yeah, thanks, Tom Toe. There's something to be said about having 100 people who love you and 100 people who hate you, rather than 200 people who are just kind of indifferent or neutral to you. And one thing that is worth noting, while my peak viewer count was definitely during a point where I was less political on stream on occasion, there's something to be said about the fact that, like, there's a reason why my viewer count is much lower on average than someone like Croaky's, but my subscriber count is actually higher than his. I think that a significant part of that has to do with how invested people are in my content because of who I am. Because I'm an organic person. I'm a real boy. I know it might seem like it on occasion, but I promise you I'm actually not a caricature. You could ask my wife, this is actually who I am. How does your subscriber and viewer ratio compare to Twitch in general? So, average subscriber counts are actually not something that you can access via Twitch metrics. So that's not something that they track on the public API. I only have a reference on something like Croquis because for the larger creators on the platform, there are websites that manually track what their sub count is month to month. So what am I doing with this Urza Saga? I think the answer is dying to this insectile aberration. What are our outs here? I wish we had. Oh, engineered explosive doesn't kill this anymore on 0. Excuse me, on 0. Feeling kind of dead. Our double horizon land this game didn't do us any favors, but our opponent's also been super interactive, which has hurt. I guess the line is make a token and then hope that they don't kill us next turn and we can equip the Shadowspear to it, I think is the line. And honestly, I think we just get a backup Ornithopter here so we have more chump blockers. The last few weeks, Croquis has a sub count in the corner of the screen. It's about 2.2k. Sure, yeah. So like right now, I have 2330 for concurrent subscribers. We've been floating between like 2200 and 2600 since I've been back to doing Magic full time. Drum lets you do that. Yeah, but Drum means we die to double removal, right? Are they like burn an Ornithopter and then burn my face? I do enjoy me a smoothie. That is a 2-mana 8/8 chip. I think we're dead because we can't outsize that. Sponsor rates vary depending on what kind of product they offer at Ranger. Okay, so I think this is actually similar to the other deck we just boarded against, where we bring in the pro red stuff for the cheap removal. And we're going to cut Gift, and we're going to cut Pithing Needle, a couple of these Spring Leaves, and I did the Give Reverence last time. Seems fine. Morning, Maddie. Double Sigarda's 8 is pretty bad, but like these two to start is pretty good. Have Path to Exile too. Man, this card, chat, triggers Chandler for free, enables Delirium for free. Just does so much. But decide on what game is after Ratchet & Clank. I have not. I had a donation for Biomutant, but I might wait on that one because they're supposed to be releasing a PS5 specific patch at some point, and the person who donated for it said they were fine if I wanted to wait for that. I have a few other variety games that I've bought on sale at various points that are listed there. I don't think Darkest Dungeon is the genre of game I really play, right? All the variety stuff I'm doing these days is like single player story driven stuff. It's a roguelike dungeon crawler that is punishingly difficult. Yeah, 0% chance we play that. I really don't enjoy Slay the Spire as a type of game. I play single player games to feel like I'm playing through a movie. And the only time I ever really enjoy card battler games like Slay the Spire is when they have some kind of RPG component tied in. Like Griftlands is like that style of game as opposed to Slay the Spire. I don't find playing card games against an AI inherently satisfying. It's not interesting to me. I'm glad other people enjoy it, but it's just not my cup of tea personally. So we'll attack for 2 here. We'll get to go ahead and make a token and then path something. Yeah, Mass Effect is on my list of games to watch for a sale for. I don't buy new games at full price for myself, chat. I have a backlog of games I've already bought on sale. Ever played Warhammer? Forever ago. I played Warhammer Fantasy as a small child before whatever their most recent rules update was. Like old OG Warhammer Fantasy. Maybe I should have cycled the Horizon Canopy into turn there. What am I getting here? Is it just Shadowspear? I think it's just Shadowspear, huh? What kind of army did I play? I played Beasts of Chaos, chat. Oh, I'm dumb. I didn't play the Sigarda Zig because I was talking and clicking at the same time. Haha! Look at that. Got me. Honestly, this game's kind of a sweet example, I think, of this deck's kind of power level. Because we didn't do our inherently broken thing this game. And our deck's still just like humming along just fine, right? Because there was a Saga. Big Lobo, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Our protection, drawing our protection for red cards didn't hurt. Didn't hurt either. Which is nice. I think I'm happy that I bought it. Let's run it back. I mean, honestly, the Sanctifier en-Vec was really good in that matchup too, right? Because it prevented the red instants from hitting the graveyard, which was helpful against both Murktide and their Delirium creature. Yeah, that seems fine. I actually just found, Christy and I were cleaning out the garage, and I actually just found my old container full of Warhammer Fantasy minis that were mostly built. Mostly built and almost not painted at all. I should pull some of them out and see. I wonder how the plastics held up over the last couple of decades. Probably been a decade and a half since they were pulled out of that box. Looking to sell that. I mean, I wonder if they're even. I mean, the metal pieces are probably fine, but I have to imagine the plastic ones are probably dry rotted a little bit at this point, right? They were just like they were wrapped in towels as cushioning inside of a plastic container. If you're on the subs Discord, Conqueror, you should DM me. Because I would definitely be willing to part with them. Delverino, eh? So we have Forge-Tender to protect whatever threat I play out this turn. I think we want to play Sentinel to kind of tie up their mana or generate card advantage, and then we'll probably path to exile some stuff here. Plastic rots, it like degrades, right? Depends on the quality of the plastic. Okay. Get to draw a card. I think we protect this, huh? This is going to get flying eventually anyways. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and path the Delver here. I missed seeing people during quarantine, but I don't know that I explicitly missed paper magic. I was never someone. I never really played a ton of Magic for like the social component. Like a lot of my Magic was like grinding tournaments and stuff. I played some F&M style stuff for like a very brief window, but a lot of you can see the large shelf of board games behind me. That's more of what my group of people always did. They have land, artifact, instant. Is there anything that punishes a block here? What punishes a block here, chat? Thought Scour, good call. Well, I guess any instant surveilling could punish us there, right? Murktide? I think Dells for 7. That's so good. I think we're dead, fam. Street Wraith would have gotten us there. Yep, good call. Bonus deck seems pretty good. I just kind of hate Mishra's Bauble as a card, so I haven't loaded it up yet. Thanks, Shabrizi. Hopefully they get Historic back to a point where I feel like playing more tournaments. Definitely. Felt a little bit tedious and spent by the end of that day. Playing against 8 blue decks in a row will do that to you. Yeah, the opponent's archetype, someone in chat pointing out the kind of anti-synergy with Dragon's Rage Chandler and Murktide. This is just a good example of put more good cards in your deck and you'll win games of Magic regardless. So, like, it doesn't really matter that these two cards have anti-synergy with each other because they're both just so individually powerful, it doesn't matter. Yeah, Chandler helps turn this on in a way, too. Can we just play second Puresteel Paladin here? And then next turn, we can grab a hammer. Well, hammer makes the creature lose flying. Yeah, we're going to make a token on their turn. Honestly, with the token being large, it might be right to go grab our lifelink, our Shadowspear, because we're gonna have a token that's a little chunky. We've got 1, 2, 3. This will be 4. This is a 5th artifact. This is a 6th artifact for generating another token. We'll be able to attack for like 8 with lifelink or so. Yeah, Shadowspear is a really powerful part of this archetype for sure. Would not be competitive without it, I don't think. We did do a bolt. Save this, right? If they bolt this, they only hit us for 10 here. We also theoretically have Inkmoth if we need to block in a pinch instead of making a token, but ideally we don't want to do that. The Inkmoth gains flying again after you equip it. Or if you activate again after you equip it. I think you're right, actually. That sounds like how an onion with layers works. That being said, my opponent has Lightning Bolt available. So I think we're supposed to get the Shadowspear to play around Lightning Bolt. If I go for the lethal and they Lightning Bolt, I die. Whereas with this sequence, I'm going to be able to just gain a bunch of life, which seems decent. Oh, they're just doing this at end of turn? Oh. Well. Now if they don't give this flying, they're dead on board, right? Okay, so now they're dead. Can have my cake and eat it too, chat. I'm probably supposed to just get Hammer here to play around Force of Negation, right? Yeah, that's the plan. And this is something to be said about this deck and, you know, playing decks like this. People are going to lose games to you because they don't understand how your deck works. Stop. Hammer time. It's also worth noting here that if my opponent had played properly with their Unholy Heat, I think they still lose this game. So, like, if you're on my opponent's side and you come back and watch through this later, I don't think you have a lot to beat yourself up about. Because if they leave this one red mana available here, my sequence this turn would have been Find Shadowspear, and then we drew the Colossal Hammer, so I would have had a giant life-linking thing with Trample that would have put the game out of reach as well, if not outright killed them this turn. But for people that missed it, the interaction here is if you give a creature flying, that has Hammer on it already, it doesn't lose flying again. So the gain flying overrides this. So this becomes flying, you give it a hammer, it weighs it down, you tell it to fly again, it then attacks and kills them. Alright, so we're 3-1. It's like an onion, chat. It has layers. 40 months later, and we're back on Moto. The circle's complete. What's going on, Dig? Thanks for the 40 months. It's been a trip. Yes, yeah, that too. When you have Sigarda's 8 out, it gives your hammer flash. So you like wait for them to not block the Inkmoth, then flash in the hammer and make it an 11/11. Correct. Yep. So Sigarda's Aid lets you use hammer as a combat trick, which is great. Chat, you can tell that we've mostly been playing decks that I've picked out in Modern, as opposed to viewer submissions, because the $30 worth of Moto tickets that I purchased when we went back to doing Magic Online content, past Jeff didn't leave me any Moto money, has now turned into over $70 worth of Moto money. We've doubled up, chat. We Moto rich. Something I've talked about when I was a sweaty try-hard mouth breather back during grad school and undergrad, I actually used to pay my rent playing Magic Online. Part of the reason I actually started streaming was some of my friends knew that I was just playing a ton of Magic Online. They're like, Jeff, you should just stream your matches if you're playing them anyways. I used to cash $200 to $300 a month out of Magic Online by selling tickets. Definitely not gambling. I mean, to be fair, Sensei, like talking about MPL or no MPL, while it's not true of all of them, a lot of the people that were in the MPL and people who are like big Magic players, Hall of Fame, or like were platinum and gold pros, a lot of those folks had like good sources of outside income because you couldn't obtain pro status on Magic's system without playing in a ton of Magic events and flying around a lot of really costly weekends. It's like it always makes me chuckle when you'd hear chuckle and shake my head when you'd hear people talking about how you can't give out invites to things to people who don't deserve it because the rest of the people earned their spots. It's like, yeah, they technically went and played in a bunch of tournaments and did well in those tournaments, but they were also people who like had an incredible amount of privilege in their lives that they could afford to travel and play in a bunch of Grand Prix. I think someone once said $5,000 to $10,000 was cheap for getting onto the Pro Tour. Yeah, definitely. There's in fact, a big part of the reason I played in SCG Tour events as opposed to playing in Wizards Grand Prix to try and qualify for their Pro Tours is that it was just more economical for me to do that. The prize money ratio was better on SCG Opens. You're better off playing in, 300 person 10K than you were playing in, 1,500 person 30K or whatever Grand Prix paid out. Yeah, SCG is better at player promo by a lot too, right? There's a good chance that if I played Wizards events and I won a Pro Tour at some point, I wouldn't be a successful streamer because no one would know who I was. So shout outs to Star City Games for helping me jumpstart my career. How much to bribe me to play in SCG Opens when they start back up? I definitely intend to play in some paper tournaments when they come back. I will never go back to playing in constant paper tournaments like I did once upon a time. But I definitely intend to. Oh, chat! Oh, it's hammer time! Oh, baby! Oh, baby! Don't force me. Don't force me. Oh, yeah. You love the auto pass, chat. You love to see the auto pass. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice 3-mana Teferi. All right, kill you. Get him. Welcome to Thunderdome, opponent. Enjoy your stay. -6 on turn 3. Get him out of here. Ship it. So, I didn't put them both on Sentinel because Solitude is legal in this format. And it looked like they were auto-passing, but on the off chance they had a thing, I didn't want to. So it was strictly correct to split them up because of Solitude. I don't really have any sideboard cards here for a control deck, really, huh? I guess I could, like, bring in the second Pithing Needle, but I don't even know if that's good. Did I expect them to have red removal? It looked like they were playing 5-color stuff, maybe. But, like, another thing is, like, if your opponent's doing stuff and you're not really sure what kind of stuff they're doing and your deck's linear, like our deck is linear, you should probably just run them down, right? I think Burrenton Forge-Tender might be a card to bring in. Shadowspear doesn't seem very good. Honestly, yeah, I think they're probably bring to Niv. Might cut this Pithing Needle. I guess it shuts off Renin 6. I don't know exactly what we're doing. It's really unlucky that we killed them so quickly we don't know how to sideboard. Truly, truly unfortunate. Have a good one, Coral. Nice, nice. Morning, Cody. This is going to be our last match of Modern. I'd like to thank everybody for hanging out for Modern this morning. If you're new to the channel, thanks for dropping in. My name's Jeff Hoagland. I stream Magic and other content here full time. We're doing a Modern League every single morning to start the day. We played some Yogg Chord yesterday, and it was sweet as well. If you want to check out lots of other Modern content, you can find that up on my YouTube channel every single day. I upload in the evening. After this, we're not done with the stream, though. If you enjoy Historic, we're going to be playing a couple of Historic brews on Magic Arena. And then we're going to be wrapping up the day with some more Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart this afternoon. It's been fun. Probably Bring to Light from the Valakut. I think that's a good read. Yeah, they are a Renin 6 deck, huh? Got through Modern an hour. We've actually been playing for 90 minutes. I went live a little bit early this morning. I was awake and ready to go. I should have kept the Pithing Needle. Bottom the Springleaf Drum. Oh, I could have bottomed the second Plains. It's a good thought. So we animate that to give ourselves Metalcraft here. Just go ahead and attack their face here. If we have Metalcraft, Puresteel Paladin lets us equip for free. Oh, we die to Escape Shift, don't we? Because of the Dryad? Yep. Yeah, if we would have kept the Pithing Needle, we might have won this game. So for people that aren't familiar with the opponent's deck, they get a bunch of Valakuts, and they're all mountains because of the Dryad. I think I'm happy with how I sideboarded. I should have just mulliganed differently. Stupid, sexy Dryad. Beep 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 beep. So we actually play Springleaf Drum on one here, right? Because then we go Stoneforge into Sigarda's 8 on 2. Yeah, remember having to play Prismatic Omen? Going on, K-Smith? We're going to be doing regular Historic today. I have 2 regular Historic decks in the queue that both the submitters requested be played today. Our hand is very decent, yep. Correct. Valakut is colorless because lands are colorless unless they've been given a color by some other type of thing. So they also would have gotten likely 2 to 3 Valakut, so even if it was red, that wouldn't have mattered. Like a suspend search for tomorrow? Disenchant, maybe? Do I play Inkmoth here on 2, or do I play Stoneforge Mystic? Play Inkmoth, right? I'm gonna threaten the attack with it next turn. So if they tap out, they're dead. We go this, animate, hit them. I mean, we have the turn 3 set up a second time in a row if they don't have interaction. Like, Modern is a turn 3.5 format. If you can't interact by turn 3, you better be able to kill them by turn 3 occasionally. If our opponent just ignores us, we'll kill them. And this is heads up, they know we just need a land. This deck can turn 2, which is fun. How does that happen? You go Springleaf. You go Springleaf, 0 drop, and then okay, then you Sigarda. Oh no. Oh no! I have Stoneforge Mystic still. That's true. I do still technically have Stoneforge Mystic. All around me are familiar faces, worn out spaces, worn out faces. Do 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 do. And I'm gonna go ahead and do this now for one of these, so that way they can't kill this with a bolt or something in response. Yeah, Stoneforge gets around Chalice, but it means I can't kill them this turn, so I don't have enough mana to activate, put it into play, etc. So casual 11-12 between friends, yep. No big, no big. This is our fail state. They interacted with us, so I had to fall back to plan B, which was make the 11-12 on turn 3 instead of literally killing them. Rats, never lucky. Cast a Teferi. Ravel my time. Oh, yeah, daddy. You know just what I like. Oh, no. Don't bounce my Stoneforge Mystic, Daddy Teferi. Don't do it. Do 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 do. Go tuck yourself, Teferi. Tuck yourself and get over it. Nice. Thanks for following, Beerweiser. This deck was guess. So, one of the things that someone mentioned earlier was you can splash black in this deck for other cards in your sideboard. I don't think I really like that. I kind of like having a good, consistent, plains-filled mana base. One actually kind of min-maxing thing that we should technically do in this deck is MTGO Traders was out of stock on black-white canopy lands. So you should technically play 2 Horizon Canopies and 2 Silent Clearings. Oh, actually, you should play some red-white ones too. So you should play a mix of these in the edge case that you can converge Prismatic Ending for 3 or 4 colors if you have multiple. It actually doesn't matter, but just to point it out, because I know that some pedantic Magic player is going to point it out in a YouTube comment later, is that this card technically means you should split. It gets around Pithing Needle, sure, it beats Pithing Needle too. You should split these, close your eyes and roll some dice and pick a variety of white canopy lands and cycle them. Pick your favorites. Thanks for the follow, JR Plays Games. If you missed any of this set, we played for over 90 minutes. We went 4-1 in the league. Deck felt really powerful and proactive and sweet. I think my takeaway from this set was actually that is there anything Urza Saga can find to deal with Asmo? I guess Pithing Needle does that in a way. The food matchup felt hard. We got like dumpstered in 2 not close games to the food deck in the first match. I don't know that I can really expect that matchup to be fixable. I guess Path and Prismatic Ending are both pretty good there. Maybe we just got a little bit unlucky, but it definitely felt difficult when our opponent decided to food poison all of our things with Asmo. But the rest of the decks that we played in that, we kind of just ran them down. Kind of just ran them down. All right, let's play some Historic, huh?